Where's that guy? Oh, my God.
Oh, look at this. You guys, look at this. Where's the camera?
Flying out of Sacramento, California.
Woo! What you gonna do? Better. Stronger.
Son of a bitch.
Faster. Oh, yeah!
Just so you know, my girlfriend, we were watching Bigger, Stronger, Faster. She has some problems with it, okay? We'll talk about it later, though. It's nothing important. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
Some things she thought should have been left out, and some things should have been added in that weren't in there, but we'll talk about it later.
The only people I let talk to me like that are people that are my good friends. This is my boy Tom Pheil, who has been a was a fixture at Gold's Gym Venice when I first moved there.
1992, 93, what do you think?
Yeah, 92, 93. Used to run the show at Gold's.
Well, I was part of the show.
Yeah, part of the show.
Ed Connor said, "Tom, you're the straw that stirs the drink." So I wasn't important, but I stirred the drink. I was
And
like,
Ed
the
Connors-
straw's important.
Ed Connors, for those who don't know, used to own the gym.
He's the guy. He's the man.
Yeah, he used to do a lot for bodybuilders.
A lot?
Used to have a lot of bodybuilders come and
I don't think
stay
anybody.
at his house. 750 bodybuilders have stayed at his beach house in Venice and also trained at Gold's Gym, including people like John Cena and some other very, very popular bodybuilders that had made it to the top.
I don't think anybody did more to get amateur bodybuilders in a position to turn pro than Ed Connors. Nobody.
Yeah, he just wrote a book. He just came out with a book.
Yeah. The Three Musketeers or the three
Something like
Three
that.
Musketeers.
Yeah.
It was a play on
anyway.
Three Musketeers.
Bottom line, we've known each other forever.
Yes, sir.
What's very impressive about you, to me, is that you've done a lot of stuff. You were a power lifter pretty much your whole life. I remember in Gold's Gym Venice, walking in one day, and I think that I want to say you did was it 500 pounds for 20 reps? Something crazy like that, right?
I've done a 500 for 20 several times, probably 8 or 10 times. It probably was, I said, a 20 with 500 pounds, no straps, full reps. And I think Rob Mathis was there. And Rob was always a good cheerleader. You know Rob. Great guy. Great guy.
Rob. Yeah.
Great guy.
That's my boy.
And he was always a good cheerleader for anybody who was trying to do big things in the gym. And he was cheering me on or pushing me on. And I think that was probably one of the days that I did it. I probably did it at Gold's Gym Venice once or twice.
And there was also a picture, right when you walked into Gold's Gym, there was all these pictures there was Triple H, Shawn Michaels, all the pro wrestlers were up on the wall, all the pro bodybuilders, pictures of Lee Haney and Lee Labrada and anybody, Lee Priest,
Sure.
anybody that was famous, anybody that was anybody, was up on that wall.
And there was one more picture, too, that didn't really belong there, but it totally belonged there.
And it was a picture of the back of Tom's neck, which at the time was 20-something inches.
22 and 5/8.
22 and 5/8 inches. And
That's
it was
a
just a
legit
picture
measurement. Sorry.
of the back of a neck, which looked like a Rottweiler's neck or something like that. It was just huge. And it was interesting because it was just a picture of the back of your neck. That's all it was. And it was up there on the Wall of Fame. And now you're doing a bodybuilding show. But the interesting thing isn't that you're doing a bodybuilding show. The interesting thing to me is that you look fantastic and you're 60 years old.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I'm trying real hard still. My last bodybuilding show was 29 years ago, and I didn't have a whole lot of success back then. Like we were talking about, we have powerlifting backgrounds. And powerlifting, we both had some successes. Bodybuilding, I just never could quite do anything. Tried pretty hard, but I figured one more shot at it. I said, guys, the window's closing. I got to get in while the window's not closed yet. My friend said, Tom, the window closed 10 years ago. You just refused to acknowledge it. So we're going to try one more contest.
What would make you
60.
What would make you want to do a bodybuilding show at 60 years old? What happened in your life that sort of made this happen?
It's very traumatic. When I was a child, I fell into a well. And I nearly drowned. No.
Batman story?
No.
Wow.
And bats attacked me.
No.
This is Bane. We have
No.
Bane sitting next to you, Chris.
No, here's what it was. At the gym, all the gyms I've trained the last 20 years or so, we've prepped guys for powerlifting meets, help guys with strongman, work with PEDs, diet, prep bodybuilders. And I always preach bodybuilding. And in the gym, I frequently say, we're bodybuilding today. We're not powerlifting, we're bodybuilding. And my friends always say, Tom, you always talk the talk. Would you please show us something? And I got to break out the photo album and show them pictures of black and white Polaroids from back in the 90s and even the 80s where I was on stage as a bodybuilder. And about 3 months ago, I had a little bit of a diet change and got a little bit tighter. And when I was doing leg extensions, and one of the guys in the gym, he won the Contra Costa. He's a good bodybuilder. He goes, Tom, your legs are separating. Are you going to do a bodybuilding show? He said it as a joke. And I said, no, I'm just trying to diet a little bit, and thank you for noticing. And then I was thinking, you know what? Let me think about this. So I sat down. We had a powwow at the gym at Inspire Fit in Concord. Me, Darren Malpe, Tom Elliott, Paul, Johnny B, Brian. We all sat down.
I don't know any of those people.
Anyway,
they're assuming
they know who you are,
in
though,
the bodybuilding
from your
world.
movie. They're
Yeah.
people. And I ran it past with the guys. Can we do this show? And you see how we look? Can we make this work? And they all to the person said, yeah, we can make this work. I said, no, I don't want to be an in shape 60-year-old. I want to be a jacked bodybuilder. Can I make this work? Because if I can't, I don't want to be silly up there in my underpants like I have abs and muscular arms. No. I want to be a jacked bodybuilder still. And they said, yeah, we can make this work. So
you're obviously making it work. I mean, I've seen you in here a million times coming in powerlifting. You were still doing your meat preparation and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden you send me a picture and you're shredded. Now you've always been in good shape, but you came in today and we trained arms together.
good session.
And Mark and Nsima walked in the gym and they're both like, damn, you have 8 weeks to go and you look this good.
When you hear that kind of stuff, those boys are so nice to me. All you guys are so nice to me. I don't know why you're that nice. Yeah, that kind of motivation. Like, if they think I look good, I can't let these guys down. And I can't, the guys I always talk to at the gym and the guys I tell, come on, you can do better than that. Or come on, one more set. Or you got more than that. I can't let them down. And again, today when Mark and his team walked in and they said what they said, I went, like, they were sincere. They weren't just fucking with me. Like, they weren't saying, you look good for a 60-year-old man. They said, dude, you're freaking jacked.
Yeah, you look good for any age.
Right. And his team especially. And he's jacked.
Yeah.
And Mark's jacked too, obviously. So I said, then they hadn't seen me in a while, and I think I can make it work. At first, I was unsure if I could do this. Like, okay, I don't want to have a six-pack and get up there and pose and go, okay, get him off the stage. I still want to be a bodybuilder. So, again, it should come together. I got a great team in place. Everyone's there. I mean,
one thing that strikes me is like you're very, very disciplined. You send me your meal plan like every couple days. You're like, here's everything I ate today, right? And it's like this laundry list. It's like a huge list. It seems like you're eating kind of a lot of food. But the calories are probably pretty low because it's all fairly low calorie stuff. And it's so funny to me. Let's just get it out in the open here. The first thing on your list every time is PEDs.
well,
Like for breakfast,
sure.
PEDs.
The list is chronological. I wake up in the morning. The very first thing I do, I have a cup of coffee. And with that cup of coffee, I swallow or I take my morning PEDs, performance-enhancing drugs. So they're on the list first because they're actually the coffee's first, but I put the PEDs first, and then as I consume foods, I put them on the list. At the end of the day, I'll look back at it, and I send it out to different friends. I think I sent it to Mark Bell once, a couple other guys, my prep coach, of course. I'm looking for feedbacks. I want someone to see something that the other guys don't see. Like, Tom, what's this Dave's bread? Drop that out of there. Or 6 whole eggs. Let's go to 9. Let's bump it up a little bit. And what's all these shakes about? Let's get whole food. Let's get real food. So when I send it to you, I'm trying to get a little. I want you to know what I'm doing. This is it's kind of fun too.
Yeah,
and it is kind of a funny list. And it's a lot of food, as you mentioned there. I'm never hungry. The second I'm almost about to get hungry, it's time to eat again.
Now we talked about this, right? Because there are a lot of people out there on the internet, people that I like and look up to and watch all their content, like Lane Norton and other people, and they'll say that they look through, all these studies, and they find that like you could eat once a day or you can eat 10 times a day and you're going to experience the same results. But you and I were just talking that bodybuilders still stick to this like 6 meals a day, very stringent, like very, very strict rules. And then even when Mark was doing a bodybuilding show and he was working with Hani Rambod, Mark ate he abandoned everything about carnivore and everything about keto and basically just listened to the coach. Do you think that there actually is something to these things that bodybuilders do that maybe are outside of like what we might learn in a study, or like, is it just experience? I mean, every bodybuilder seems to do this, even though the studies say something that might be different.
Thank you. There's theoretical and there's real world. And we lived in the real world. It was Gold's in Venice all those years. Right there in the mix, we saw the guys who would win the Olympia, win the Arnold, take second in the universe. We saw them every single day. Sometimes you see him I'd see him in the morning on Friday, I'd see him midday, I'd see him in the afternoon, then I'd see him in the evening. And their food consumption, that was the one common denominator that all those winning bodybuilders have. Every 2 hours, within 30 minutes, every 2 hours, food. Nutrient timing, they didn't call it nutrient timing, it was just every 2 hours, let's take some more food in. And the there were 6 or 8 foods that repeated themselves: tuna, chicken, fish, steak, tuna, chicken, fish, rice, red beans, green beans. And that was it. And every winning bodybuilder we knew, they'd finish their workout, walk over to the locker area, open the locker, pull out the Tupperware, and start eating. Was that nutrient timing? Sure it was. It was also probably 2.5 hours since their previous meal. And I said it before, the hardest thing a bodybuilder ever learns is how to eat like a bodybuilder and then actually do it.
Yeah.
And we see guys that are jacked out there, like you go, whoa. If someone's jacked, their diet's on point.
I really rarely hear bodybuilders complain about the training,
No!
or the drugs. They complain about the diet.
Baby, we love going to the gym. Like here, we just trained superset, bicep, tricep. That was great. We love going to the gym. Supplements are easy. PEDs are easy. It's diet. That's everything for bodybuilding. Most sports, your diet's important. Most sports, more is better. Keep it clean, that kind of thing. But with bodybuilding, because it's just it's a dog and pony show. How do you look? Your performance does not matter. And diet's everything. And so from the diets I've been sending you, you see my diets have changed quite a bit. Before the calorie count hasn't dropped too much. The clean stuff's come in and all the junk went away.
But what's amazing to me is how different your physique is just from going from like 2-3 meals a day, like a normal person, right, to like eating very regimented.
But it's so funny. It's an intangible you've nailed there. That why would eating 3,000 calories in 7 meals be different than eating 3,000 calories in 3 meals? It's still 3,000 calories, but it is different. It's almost like you're always chucking some wood onto that fire and keeping your BMR, your base metabolic rate, cranked up. And right now my metabolism is pretty cranked up.
You said you were doing no cardio too, and you probably lost like several percent body fat over the past couple months, right?
About a year ago, I weighed in here at Super Training Gym, strongest gym in the West, at 252. Right now I'm 222. So I'm down 30 pounds, no cardio at all, 0. And my prep guy says, Tom says, as long as you're tightening, we're not going to throw it in, because at your age, it's going to be easy to lose that muscle. Your body, you start doing cardio, and instead of taking those fat stores from here or that mush right here, what does it do? It takes your biceps or your hamstring. It takes that really cool, harder muscle, and it turns that to fuel. Why it does that? It's kind of irritating.
You said something to me that sort of got to me before, and you don't even know when you get to me. But like I've been trying really, really hard to get lean again. I was lean 2 years ago. I was like really lean. I did carnivore. Like I said, I was kind of starving myself. It was hard when I got really lean. It took a lot of effort. Took a lot of going to bed hungry. Oh, yeah. I got really, really lean. And then you told me, without quite saying it directly, but you're like, because he's like, you said you're always acting like you're going to go into a show, but then you never do. Do the show. And you'll see that fat will come off because you're going to have a gun to your head.
Yes, you're not going to get on stage wearing those little Speedos. By the way, swimmers now don't wear Speedos. I went to Big 5 Sporting Goods to buy some Speedos. Now they wear those long pants like cycling shorts that go through the water. Anyway, so just so you know, swimmers no longer wear Speedos. But yeah, when you're on stage, you'll see everything. And people say, I'm gonna do a simulated prep for a show, diet, cardio, everything. I go, that's good and everything. That's cool, thumbs up. But it ain't the same thing.
Yeah.
You got to actually do all the prep work, and then I think get on the stage and do those quarter turns. And those fat stores down low that we have as powerlifters, they're going to go away. They will go away. Skin folds may be there. But, skin elasticity, we can't change that, but it will go away.
And to be honest, like what I always thought bodybuilding was, in all honesty, I just thought it was a ton of drugs. Because I trained at Gold's, and I just thought everybody took a lot of drugs. And now I'm realizing,
oh, yeah.
Once I started trying to do it, there is so much more to getting lean than just the drugs. The drugs are just a small part of it.
You and me, all of our friends, we would have placed to the Olympia if it was just drugs. We could easily procure the same drugs the pros take and take the same quantities. We can do that, but that's not the whole thing. You have to be a responder, first of all. We can't change that. But there's so much more to it. And on that note, my PED protocols now are very, very mild. They're, I think, less than my powerful
What
protocols.
are you taking now? Can you talk about it?
Sure. It's a very simple mix, primarily anabolics versus androgens, some oral winstrol, some testosterone, so of course there's androgen as well, a little equipoise. I just started clenbuterol. Clenbuterol is we'll call it a fat burner. It's whether it's a fat burner or not, I'll let you decide. But what it does for me, it's an appetite suppressant. It suppresses hypothalamus function, and when you're not hungry, you can eat as clean as you want. So for the first 4 or 5 hours of the day, I can have egg whites and white rice, and I'm totally stoked because I was never hungry to begin with. So clenbuterol for me is an appetite suppressant that lets me eat anything I want as clean, or lets me go as clean as I want. So my drugs, and Winstrol, Clen, Equipoise, Cypionate. There'll be some more added in there as the contest is closer, but mild dosages. All my friends, the real bodybuilders I talk to, when I shoot.
What's a mild dose of testosterone? Are you on 600 milligrams or are you on like 200 milligrams?
It's 250 megs every 72 hours. Simple as that. 250 megs of Cypionate every 72 hours. Just that simple. Which is half a gram of test a week.
Yeah. So around 500, more like 500.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. When I show that to real bodybuilders, I go, dude, what are you doing? Step on the gas. Come on, quit messing around. What are you afraid? Like, no, I'm responding. And again, at my age, I don't think taking more is going to be a whole lot. It's not going to give me much more of a return for the investment.
A lot of people don't look into this, and I don't know if you have. Are you healthy right now?
It's funny.
You get your blood work done and stuff like that.
Haven't had the panels run lately. Need to have it done. I feel great. Sleeping better. Waking up fresher. Feel great in the gym. I want to do more sets. I wake up early. I get up in the morning. I wake up 7:15, no alarm clock, ready to go. I'm excited to go to the gym. Remember at Gold's Gym Venice? Every workout was the best workout ever.
Yeah.
Every workout. This is great. This is my best shoulder workout ever. I do. We just train shoulders. We do it all the time.
So there's a different vibe, I can tell you, than any other gym. When I lived in Los Angeles, every single day when I woke up, I was excited because I was going to go to Gold's Gym Venice.
Totally cool.
Yeah, and you're going to go train, and you're training like next to all these people that are celebrities and stars in the fitness industry.
So cool.
And then like you just become friends with a lot of cool people, and you kind of take it for granted. Like you're fist bumping Bruce Buffer and Frank Stallone. You're walking into the gym and you're like, these guys.
Or
are
you're
all
over in
cool,
the pro shop having a little small talk with Gina Davis.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later. I don't know. Hush.
And it was always cool because you're always kind of like, who's going to be there today?
Right.
I've got
James Caan, Keanu Reeves.
I got to make a movie with Peter Berg, my movie Trophy Kids. I produced with Peter Berg because he came up to me in the gym, punched me in the arm.
That's cool.
He said, "I love that steroid movie, kid. It was a great movie. Let's do something together."
Totally cool.
And it's
He's
like,
cool.
You don't get that at any other gym.
And now I train at Inspired Fit in Concord, California. And I'm super motivated to get into the gym. I'm excited. It's not the Gold's Gym excitement, but
you have that same excitement that you had when you were younger.
My training partners are excited to see me do the bodybuilding show. Again, I have my posing coach. Like I have a posing coach. Like what powerlifter is a posing coach? Not too many powerlifters say those words. Although Herbie the Love Bug, Andrew, doing a bodybuilding show. Shout out to Herbie. Or Andrew's your name.
He's going to look sick.
Dude, he's totally jacked. He's totally jacked. But I'm super motivated to do it. And again, 56 days left. The diet's going to get real tight. And 56 days, you and I can do anything. You can hold your breath for that long. For the last 56 days.
I don't know about that.
Good point. Stand on your head for that long. I should do okay. Again, every single variable. When I give you my diet, when I shoot you those menus, I want a little feedback. Like just, I don't want you to tell me what to do, but just a little feedback. So I have somebody in place for every single variable: posing, prep, diet, drugs, posing, tanning. I mean, any single variable that bodybuilders need to be concerned with. A gym, like right now, you open the gym. Right now, the gym isn't officially open, but you and I trained arms.
Yeah,
beautiful. I mean, I have the keys to another gym. I have no excuses at all not to be successful. But bodybuilding is kind of strange. The day of the show, if everyone else if there's competitors on stage that are that much better than you, they will beat you, and that's the end of it. In most sports, you can suck it up and say, you know what, he's not going to beat me. He's not beating me today. I don't care what he does. I'm coming back and hitting harder. I'm going to go faster, or whatever. Or I'm going to out-bench press. I'll catch him in the deadlift. He got me in the squat. He got me in the bench. I'll catch him in deadlift. But in bodybuilding, if that guy's better, then he's going to beat you.
There's no game day clutch. It's
No.
It's all the preparation.
Right.
That is a brilliant insight that you just made.
You walk on the stage for those first comparisons, and they call number 7, number 8, number 3. Go to the center, please. And that's it. And if you're number 6 and get called out, you can't try to stand taller or go, hey, what about me? Or you can't flex harder, or you can't load the bar, but you can't tighten your knee wraps. Nothing you can do. They're better than you on that day. The bodybuilding is it's very strange. It's an art. I maintain bodybuilding is not a sport, and it never was. It is an art.
We've seen a lot of great people kind of come and go through bodybuilding, whether like
everybody,
they come in and they're a flash in the pan, or we've seen, unfortunately, like lately, a lot of people passing away, right? We've seen a lot of bodybuilders die really young at your age and doing PEDs and stuff. Does that stuff concern you, or like what do you think has been sort of the source of all these deaths?
All the deaths in bodybuilding, these are all competitive, winning bodybuilders, exceptional bodybuilders, not just competitive bodybuilders,
Some of the
winning
best.
pro bodybuilders.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sean Roden was one of them, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, and we're not in that mix anymore. We're not in that inner circle. We don't go to those guys' houses and look on their refrigerators and see exactly what they're taking. We used to know what they were doing.
Yeah.
We'd go to that guy's house. We'd have lunch with them. We'd look in their gym bag. We'd go to the connection, and we'd be there when the deal went down. We saw what they were taking. I don't know what they're doing, but there's got to be a common denominator. But those guys aren't sharing it. I wish they'd come out with it, because a lot of those guys, I mean, they look pretty healthy. We know bodybuilding is generally, competitive bodybuilding is very unhealthy.
Yeah.
But the diet those young ages, are most unfortunate.
And you can feel great and look great. People like John Meadows, who I've never met John Meadows. I hear he's like the nicest guy in the world.
Only good things.
I have actually met him. I haven't spent time with him,
Okay.
I should say. And it's just unfortunate because he looked like he's in great physical
was
condition.
jacked.
Yeah. And you think like, oh, well, must be really, I know that bodybuilding's not necessarily like healthy, but I also don't see it as like being super unhealthy. But there's something going on with the drugs and the time. I don't know exactly what's going on.
The boys in the mix need to be honest and come out and say, guys, here's what we're doing. Is there something with IGF? It's something we don't know about. Because if we knew about it, we could suggest it. And my boys go, Tom, what's killing them? I was like, I'm not in those meetings anymore. I don't hang out with those guys. I don't sit at that table at the firehouse and have that discussion. Yeah. Back in the 90s, I would have been at the table, or maybe the next table over. Maybe I wasn't at that table, but I was next.
It's also interesting because like we've seen it in like this generation. We haven't seen it in the generation before. Like that younger generation, we lost a couple guys like Mike Matarazzo and Paul DeMeo, but it was really rare, and they were usually like drug overdoses or something. Right. Something that was like really clear cut. It wasn't just like, oh, this guy was like in his hotel room and passed away, like the guy George Peterson that was at the Olympia and died. And it's like, you're right. Like we don't know what they're doing, and it's just really hard to pin it on one thing. And I think everybody just needs to be, even including yourself as a friend, everybody needs to get their panels done. Everybody needs to take a look inside and take a look under the hood and see what's going on.
I feel great. I'm sleeping well. Bodybuilding has other things that are very unhealthy.
Sleep apnea, you're right, is a huge
still have
deal.
That. Bodybuilding, we do a lot of really unhealthy things to PEDs, some of the training, some of the dieting, but then we don't drink booze, no recreational drugs. Well, minimal. Yeah. Certain things we drop out. So we have really unhealthy habits, but we have other unhealthy habits that we drop that most people always have in their daily lifestyle. So bodybuilding, I think probably more healthy than unhealthy, but it's close. And in my case, being 60 and having been involved with anabolics since I was 19 years old, something's going to kill me, but it's not going to be anabolic steroids.
You're 60 years old and you've probably deadlifted 600 pounds or had 600 pounds on your back every week for the last 30 years, right?
Well, actually, I squatted and pulled 600 in 1981. So I've been squatting and deadlifting 600 pounds for reps for 41 years.
What kind of
That's
toll?
not an embellishment. It's 41 years.
What kind of toll is that taking on your body? You feel good?
I feel great today. I mean, my lower back is tight. I need to stretch out. My mobility isn't much. I wouldn't be a very good gymnast. If I drop something, if there's a quarter laying on the ground, I got to think real hard about picking it up. I'll look at it and go, 25 cents. Do I need it or not? Usually I leave it there and keep walking because I can't pick it. I can't bend down there and get it. I'll try to kick it down to the. Maybe I kick it. It rolls up. Yeah. No, I feel great.
But also, so Mark and I talk about this a lot.
What's that?
Have you always been like that? Because I remember when I was 17, 18 years old, bending down to pick something up was hard too. Like I've just never been flexible. I've never been mobile.
It is a very recent thing. Like happened a couple of years ago. Even my friends, they Tom.
So you used to be real flexible.
Yeah, or tying my shoes. Now, frequently I'll kick my shoes off without untying them first. Like, here we go. Or if you see me walking around with my shoes untied, I'm not being lazy. It knocks the breath out of me to bend down and tie my shoe. What does that mean? I don't know what it means. Does it mean I'm unhealthy? I don't think so. It just means I need to do more flexible, maybe do a yoga class or stretch out.
In my opinion, wear
Velcro shoes.
I like you a lot better at this weight because you look and seem a lot healthier. Your skin looks better. You don't look 60.
Thank you. I sincerely
at least I
appreciate
think
that.
so. The people at home might be like
57, 58.
He looks 100.
Just to say he looks 60 is just wild. I mean, to say you're 60, it's incredible. You look so much younger.
Thank you. I try really hard at this stuff. I am in the gym. I tell silly stories and everything's always pretty jovial, but I try very hard to be healthy, or to look like I'm not 60 years old. I don't want to act 60. I don't want to sound 60. Now, I don't want to act like one of these LA hipsters that's trying to act like he's in his teens still. I don't want to be that, but Hopefully people think I'm 49 or 50. I don't know how old I don't know how old people think I am. But I feel great. Now, again, something's going to kill me, but it won't be anabolic steroids. I promise you that. Probably somebody's husband. Somehow. I should have been shot years ago by something. Anyway. But, again, for all the stuff we put our bodies through, I feel great.
You have some pretty great stories. I mean, like, we were just talking in the gym about, like, I'll bring up the Iron Sheik, right? And
Love the Iron Sheik.
Did I tell you my Sheik story? And I'm like, no, he's got a story for, like, every person. My favorite is your fight with Ric Flair.
We've told that story many, many times.
I know. We have to tell it quick again, though.
1981, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. That night, Ric Flair, who was a heel at the time, bad guy, he's fighting the Chief, Wahoo McDaniels, for the strap. The Mid-Atlantic Championship Federation, smaller federation. I don't know who won the match. I'm not sure. I forget that. Afterwards, at a little Piggly Wiggly, about midnight, a white limousine pulls up. Ric Flair gets out. He was a bad guy then. Me and 6 or 7 friends are yelling at him, calling him names, giving him the finger, and he's just ignoring us. Then,
this is back when wrestling was real.
Oh, very real.
Yeah.
And Ric Flair
they thought it was real.
And Ric Flair was only ever a bad guy then. There was no social media, so you knew he was a bad guy. It was legit.
He's a heel.
He was a bad guy. He was evil. Anyway, he's acknowledging us, but he's just kind of blowing us off, maybe gave us the finger. He's a big, strong pro wrestler, not to be trifled with. Is what happened. His girlfriend, or a girl, got out of the limousine, stood next to him, and they were putting beer and ice in this cooler. Remember the story? And one of my friends called his girlfriend something, a bad name. And lickety-split, faster than you can say, police brutality. Flair went from 40 yards away, across the parking lot. He was on me before I could turn around. He was furious. And I figured it's me and 6 friends. We can take Ric Flair. Sure, he's the world champion, but there's 7 of us. We're all high school wrestlers, football players. I looked to my left, there's nobody there. Looked to my right, all my friends took off. I wasn't the bravest one. I just didn't see him run. So Flair reached out to grab me, and I did this twister. He had my shirt, I think. Big right hand came over the top, and I heard it. It went whoosh, like on top of my head. He missed me. And I just did a little spinneroo and broke free. All I was trying to do was disengage and run. So my fight wasn't much of a fight. But anyway, the good part of the story is, for years, I was the guy that fought Ric Flair in the parking lot. So I was like a crazy guy, but it wasn't a fight. I just ran away. And years later at the Gold's Gym convention, when I met Ric Flair in person again, I told him the story, and he was so funny. He's so generous and so gracious. He goes, Tom, I love the story. I remember fighting Chief Wahoo McDaniels many, many times, but I got to tell you, I don't remember getting in a fight with you. And here's why. Because remember back in the 80s, I was a bad guy, and no matter where I went, the Waffle House, the 7-Eleven, the gas station, I was always getting in fights because nobody liked me. So your fight doesn't stand out. But did I hurt you? If I did, I'm sorry. I said, no, you took a punch at me, and then you missed, and I took off running. He was good. And we've been friends ever since. But Flair was very gracious listening to the story, and he was smiling and nodding. But he remembered.
And Ric Flair, he never had much of like a bodybuilding physique, but he was very into training, and he's very strong, right?
In the early 80s, there's pictures of him. You'll see he's probably a real 6'2", 245. Never ripped, but he's a big, strong, jacked athlete. He was in his prime. Remember?
And he owned some Gold's Gyms and stuff, right?
Yeah. Always in weight training and a good athlete. You know, pro wrestlers are good athletes and tough guys. Crossing that parking lot at full speed at midnight, it was a very intimidating figure coming after me, and he was furious because one of my guys called his girlfriend a name. So and I wanted nothing to do with him, and he wanted everything to do with me. So it was a sight to see. But
you know, all
good
those
guy.
How long did you work at Gold's for back then? You were like worked the front desk, pretty much sold memberships.
Right. I worked for 6 years. And then
6 years.
trained there for 10 years. So I was in the gym pretty much 7 days a week.
And what were some of your best memories of that? Because I look back on those times as literally probably the best years of my life. Like, I had just moved to California. I had my little brother with me who would come to the gym sometimes. In the beginning, it was just me for the first 4 or 5 years. And then I started bringing Mark because he moved out. What do you look back upon? And I remember just the days of like being at the front desk, and Jeep Swenson would be hanging out, who's 6'5", 400 pounds, and like it's amazing.
It's funny because you photographs, and even of the whole movie, the Batman movie where Jeep is
doesn't
Bane,
do him justice.
Nothing like, wait, that's Jeep? Guy's a runt. Jeep in person was just, you stood back and your jaw dropped and you went, wait a minute, I'm not seeing this right. Even in Gold's Gym in Venice, where you had the biggest guys in the world, Jeep was a real 6'4", 410. He'd weigh in every night on the digital scale. He'd always be either 397 or 403 or 406. Like, dude, 306? No, 406. Those are 25-inch arms.
What's interesting is like, yeah, I would see, like, I've been around Brian Shaw a lot. Brian Shaw is an immense human being. He's huge. And, but for some reason, because Jeep Swenson had these 25-inch arms.
Remember his traps, too? His trap shoulder thing?
Jeep Swenson's the biggest guy I've ever seen in person.
He was a sight to
muscle,
see.
like muscle-wise.
What a nice guy. What always Jeep is very funny. He go, Tommy, I don't have any straps. Can I get some straps? And if there weren't any lost and found, I'd go to the pro shop and give him a pair of brand new ones. And he'd always come back and he'd break them. He would break a pair of brand new straps every workout. Right. Training straps, like shrug straps. I go, what are you doing? How do you break straps? I've never broken a pair in my life. I've shrugged a lot of weight for a lot of reps. I don't know how he was doing it, but he would always break the strap somehow. But extremely strong. And what a nice guy. Hanging around the front desk.
He would hang out at the front desk, leaning over it, and he could never breathe.
He was enormous.
He's always like, breathing on the front
You had
desk.
him there, and then, Flex walked by, and Chris walked by, and then Gina Davis walks by, and then Keanu Reeves walked by. And then every year after the Olympia, when the Olympia contenders were in town for photo shoots, primarily Dorian back then. Dorian lives in England. So he'd be in the States, Gold's Gym, Venice in particular, for photo shoots. And you'd see him post-Olympia when he's spilling over. You just shake your head like, Jeep was a sight to see.
Yeah.
That was something special. All the guys, Matarazzo, that shoulder with those calves.
It was amazing back then, too, because it seems like James Caan and Dennis Hopper, like, they just blended
That was so cool.
They just blended into the crowd.
James Caan would stop at the front. He would stop at the front desk and do lines from The Godfather. I go, dude, do you realize we're doing lines? We're doing lines. I don't know the lines. You were sunning it. You were in the movie. I wasn't in the movie, so you got to feed me my lines here, brother. And he could turn into this gangster. He goes, Tom, go fuck yourself. Yeah. And it was so funny. But it was James freaking Caan.
Yeah, and of course, James Caan was the coach in the program who coached Andrew Bernowski, a.k.a. Latimer.
Oh, yeah.
Who became like a good friend of mine. He was like the first celebrity I ever met was Andrew Bernowski.
Really?
Who wasn't like, I guess he was a
That's
celebrity,
cool.
right? I mean, he was Latimer in the program. And to me, that movie had just come out.
I was hanging out with him back then.
To meet him.
I was hanging out with him in those years. And wherever we went, people went, dude. I mean, I didn't see the movie when it first came out. He was a celebrity. Remember, he was jacked.
Well, he was in Batman. He was in a bunch of stuff.
He was in Batman.
I remember him from high school.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody that lifted weights knew Latimer.
Yeah.
That's just the way it was.
And remember, for a while there, he had a huge, big, good-looking guy. And Ed Connors goes, Tom, Andrew Bernowski would have been the Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan wrapped in one. He could have been the best wrestler of
his own worst enemy.
Great looking guy, good athlete, great physique. And he had every single quality, but he wouldn't listen to me. I said, "Ooh, can you imagine him? He would have been a perfect pro wrestler, but he wouldn't do it. I don't want to do that bullshit."
Yeah,
and obviously,
well, then he tried to do pro wrestling.
Oh,
do you know this whole story?
No.
So he tried to do pro wrestling, and he was actually he was great as like a character. He could do promos. He'd go out and crush anybody in promos. But in the ring, it wasn't that he wasn't good or athletic. He wouldn't listen. So he literally would get into arguments. So my brother Mad Dog was the trainer down at for UPW, which is like the league where Cena started out and everything. Okay. And my brother's trying to coach him, and they literally get into an argument, and it turns into a fist fight.
That's Andy. That's Andy Bernowski
in the ring.
Yes.
And I remember he pulled Mad Dog's hair, and he ripped his hair out of his head because Mad Dog had
Mad Dog can handle himself.
Well, Mad Dog threw him, and he went flying a mile. Okay. I guess he got really embarrassed.
Okay.
So he came back and he grabbed Mad Dog's hair, and he literally yanked a lock of hair out of Mad Dog's head, and then
did they go? Were they rumbling?
Mad Dog grabbed him and had him by the neck and was about to punch him in the head, and he's the only time Mad Dog in his life was ever reserved, he didn't hit him.
Oh, good for him.
And then he would always say, I wish I would have hit him, to teach him a lesson.
That's so funny.
But the thing was that it was because of that kind of attitude that he had. You're not going to make it in WWE if you're fighting the trainers.
Thank you.
And they later made up and everything, and everything was cool. I love Andrew.
Totally cool.
For me, it was more disappointing because I'm like, dude, you're my friend, and you're going to fight my brother. My brother is not trying to fight you. He's just trying to teach the wrestling class.
He's trying to help you. Come on, brother. You got to see that he's not being mean or smart. He's trying to help.
Mad Dog never got the credit he deserved in wrestling. But he was kind of an amazing trainer for a lot of these young guys. We used to run this UPW league. We sent 31 people to the WWE, including John Cena.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Hey, was Bernowski a competitive bodybuilder? He was, wasn't he?
I don't know. He was jacked.
I think he did the LA one year, in the early 90s. But I saw him one time. He was probably close to 270. tight, separated, like, great head of hair. Like, whoa, that's that's an imposing, like, Jesus Christ, very, very strong. And he could do promos because he had a great spiel. He could do Elvis. He could sing.
Oh, let me tell you my other Bernowski story. I had he had a whole match. Like, okay, so in wrestling, and people that don't know, behind the scenes, wrestling is obviously pre-planned. We plan it out, right? And so he was going to fight this Russian guy. Oh. And he's like, I'm going to come out and I'm going to take his flag and I'm going to like spit on his flag and throw it on the ground. And then I'm going to beat him up. And then after the match, I'm going to choke him out with the flag. And I'm going,
not bad. Okay.
Well, where's the other guy's offense? Like, where's the other guy get his shot? I mean, and he's like, no, he doesn't get any shots in. And I'm like, you can't have a match like this, right? And so Andrew gets into this big argument with me.
With you?
He starts arguing with me, and he's like, you don't know what you're talking about, blah, 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 blah. You're not Vince McMahon. And he's telling me all this stuff. I go, like, Andrew, I'm just trying to help you because we're going to be looked at by WWE tonight. We have Bruce Pritchard from WWE, who used to be Brother Love. He's coming in to watch our show.
He's cool. He's totally cool.
And if he sees you do this, he's gonna be like, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. I'm trying to help you, show you what to do. He gets in a big fight with me.
Andrew would not listen.
Well, and he gets in a big fight with me in front of Bruce Pritchard.
Oh, no.
And Bruce Pritchard's like, well, look, Chris, you're the guy in charge. He's like, this is not going to work for us.
They want crazy, but they want manageable crazy. Like, okay, turn it on,
crazy.
switch on, crazy, switch off, not crazy.
Yeah.
He didn't have the off switch.
I think there's so many people that we've come across at Golds and in our younger ages that were like that. They could have been everything.
He would have been a phenomenal. He would have been better than the Ultimate Warrior, or he could have been. I never saw him move. I don't know how good. I think he was a pretty good athlete, but would have been phenomenal.
He would have figured it out.
When Ed Connors told me the story, you could hear a little, not sorrow, but almost. It wasn't regret. It was something like.
I'll tell you.
Like Tom. He could have been. I mean, like Hulk Hogan. No.
An opposite story of that is this guy Rick Bassman. He used to run the wrestling league down in Orange County. It's called UPW, Ultimate Pro Wrestling.
Okay. And
he ran this league, and I said, hey, Rick, I have a guy I'm going to bring in. He doesn't have any money, but he wants to train. And he will show up every single time. He'll be there every day, and you will sign him. He'll be the first guy you ever sign to WWE. I think maybe he signed a couple.
You told him that?
I said he's going to be.
That's a bold statement, my friend.
This is the guy.
That's bold talk right there.
The guy was John Cena.
It was John Cena?
Yeah. So
that worked out well.
I brought John Cena in. And he kept trying to get John Cena to pay. And I'm like, no, this guy doesn't have to pay. Don't worry about it.
It'll work out. It'll work out.
Within 4 months, John Cena got signed to WWE and made it. But he made it because he did exactly what I said was going to happen. He showed up every time. He was there early every day.
That's so cool.
He was like the only guy.
Hardest worker in the room.
By far the hardest worker in the room and still is. And I think that's like really important.
He's freaking jacked. John Cena has aged in reverse. I think he's 41. He now looks 31.
Yeah,
I saw him. He's in like a commercial with a purple cow. I think it's either for dairy products or insurance, whatever that cow.
It does everything.
It's a cow. It's purple. But I was positive it was John Cena's younger brother, but it was actually John Cena. It was John Cena.
He does have a younger brother named Matt. That's pretty jacked too.
Maybe it was. I didn't know he had a younger brother. Maybe it was a younger brother.
No, probably.
One time, remember Rico McClinton?
Yeah.
Remember Rico McClinton was a competitive bodybuilder back in the 90s.
Flex Wheeler's training partner.
Right. Jack, big dude. Never got his pro card. Very, very good. Remember, he was like probably 280, 290. He was just jacked. Very, very strong. Probably lost 75 pounds, 80 pounds. I was gone from Gold's Gym Venice, came back, saw a guy in the gym. I went, look, it's Rico's younger brother. And Mike Ryan goes, dumbass, that's Rico. I said, what? And it was Rico. He looked younger. When bodybuilding, not the healthiest, he looked like a younger, good-looking, healthy kid.
Yeah.
But Cena looks great.
I mean, speaking of people that look young, Mike Ryan is he's getting up there. I think he's 56 now.
He just squatted. Did you see that video? He squatted 135 for 100 reps in the parking lot. Yeah, it's crazy.
He's still lean.
He looks great. He's jacked. He trains heavy. He's got cardio shape, does sled work.
I'll tell you, Mike Ryan is one of the best people that I've ever met as far as like, you have friends that are like real deal friends. Like when you're like, so Mike Ryan trained The Rock and he knew I loved wrestling. So he'd always invite me. He'd always bring me with him. And the reason I have like had a friendship with The Rock was because how many friends do you have that like friends with a celebrity and kind of like hide them or hoard them or like they don't let you around them? Mike Ryan was different. He'd be like, no, come down because he thinks you're funny. He likes you, and stuff like that.
That's so cool.
Mike Ryan would go to Mickey Rourke's house and say, hey, we're going to go to Mickey.
Him and Rourke were tight.
Yeah, we're going to go to
Mickey Rourke's together,
house
get arrested together.
Quentin Tarantino will be there. Why don't you come along? Like, that's Mike Ryan. Like, that's a good friend. That's a good dude. He did get me once in a while. He'd come up to me in the gym and he'd be like, "I almost called you yesterday. I went to Arnold's house and Stallone was there." And
He's just fucking with you. He wasn't going to call you.
I know, he
And
wasn't-
Stallone was there? And Stallone was there?
Yeah. That was the one
Stallone
who killed
showed
me.
up, so I didn't call you.
Yeah, he killed me on that one, but
And then,
for the most part, he was always real cool.
and then Kurt Russell was going to show up too, but they're going to talk about a new Escape from New York. But I didn't think you'd want to be. You didn't care about that. So
Can you pull up? Did you pull up Mike Ryan?
I did. I'll
he's
put him
jacked.
back up.
No,
Mike
Mike's
Ryan's
totally
trainer,
cool.
I wasn't
He's in
sure
great
if I had the
shape.
right man.
He trained Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman for Hugh Jackman.
Well, he trained. This is really impressive.
He was on Jeopardy. Mike Ryan is an answer to a Jeopardy question on TV. Yes.
He trained. Okay, so I got a couple stories about
Go.
Mike Ryan, but he trained Ed Norton and he did their diets. Ed Norton and Brad Pitt for Fight Club.
Yeah, it was
I didn't know
just-
that.
That's just what popped up on his first billing.
There's Mike,
Yeah.
Right there.
Yep.
celebrity trainer. He's
did.
totally cool.
Yeah.
When my friends are in town, I'll send him to Gold's Gym Venice, and I'll ask him to
It's
go.
funny because when he's young, he's like not big. Like he's not that big at all.
He looks great though.
Yeah.
Good looking guy. Every one of my friends that's trained at Gold's Gym Venice, I'll say, find Mike Ryan, here he is, and they'll find him in the gym. He's always gracious, shows them around.
He'll talk to anybody.
Walks him over to the firehouse, gives him the grand tour, makes him feel at home. Good
You
guy.
want to give props to a bodybuilder, the nicest person to the public I've ever met.
Wait a
my
minute, hang
entire
on.
life.
Wait, hang on. Help me out.
You can walk in the gym any day and say, "Hey, I'm a big fan. I'd love to train with you," and he'll say, "Hop in." That's Mike O'Hearn,
Oh,
the nicest person to the general public I think
I
I've
didn't
ever
know that.
seen. Absolutely.
why don't I know that?
And because so many people just talk shit about him
I
and they
don't
don't
know.
see the good side. I look for the good side.
How old is Mike?
52, 53?
Back in the 90s, he was 6 years younger than me. Now he's 8 years younger than me. So either he was on Jupiter, which goes around the sun slower, or something ain't quite right in the math here.
Yeah.
But anyway, no matter how old he is, he looks phenomenal. And talk about strong motherfuckers.
Yes.
And dumbbell presses, side laterals,
I'll just tell you this.
all kinds of crazy shit.
Yesterday I went in and I tried to do reverse grip bench press.
Oh, no. How much?
He'll do it with like 405.
I've seen it.
I couldn't. 135 was really difficult for me.
I was positive those are
Reverse
fake
grip.
plates. And he went
Like reverse grip's really hard.
silky smooth, 3 seconds down, 3 seconds up. Like, wait a minute, this can't be real
We went
plates.
to.
He's legit. He's
You want
legit.
to see somebody that gets under somebody's skin. We were in Vegas,
Uh-oh.
and we set up a workout. And the workout was okay. Be there at 8 o'clock. We're going to train chest, right?
Okay.
It's going to be Mike O'Hearn, Smelly, and Brian Shaw, right?
I love it.
They're going to train together. Now, Mike O'Hearn
I saw that video, I think.
Mike O'Hearn keeps like texting us, "Hey man, I got caught up. I'll be there in 15 minutes." Then 15 minutes later, "Hey man, I got caught up talking to fans. I'll be there in 15 minutes." So he shows up like an hour late.
Oh, no. Brian Shaw's going to be there?
Yeah.
Brian Shaw's legit.
And we're already training. We're into our training, and O'Hearn gets there. He's like, "Okay, let's start benching." And so
Shut
by
up.
then, Shaw's like, "This is cheap. I've already benched. Like I already went." And I think the whole psychology of it was like, I'm going to show up late and I'm going to beat Brian on an incline bench press. So I think he did a couple more reps with him on an incline press. And it got Brian really mad.
He let Brian cook himself out
He
before
let
he
Brian
got.
cook himself out. And then Brian's kind of like, fuck this guy, that kind of thing. And he was saying, I really think it's on purpose. I'm like, I kind of think so too. It might be a little on purpose.
And Mike just has kind of almost a true 45-degree angle. High angle barbell inclines are a tough proposition. When I get bench press 500 pounds for reps, I couldn't incline press 365 for a single.
Yeah.
As strong as Brian Straw is with his pressing strength, incline press is it's a strange beast.
Well, and it's a weird thing because you're training for the world's strongest man and you don't want to get hurt, but you're like on video in front of the whole world and like, I got to go against Mike O'Hearn and something to like, it was real. Like, I understand where Brian was coming from. Sure. Like, he's actually training for legitimate world's strongest man. O'Hearn's training
Everybody
for
who watched
YouTube.
that video, yeah, exactly.
Right? It's like, it's
when I watched this video and saw Mike do more reps than Brian, I gave it 0. Like,
yeah,
that means nothing. That means nothing.
Well, Brian will be happy to hear that.
Pick up the 400-pound Atlas stone and put it on the box. Go ahead, Mike. Your turn. Your turn. Oh, the 435-pound Atlas stone. Oh, by the way, the other one's first. Then grab that. No, he can't even budget.
The most amazing thing I've ever seen, the most amazing display of strength I've ever seen. It was so crazy. We were at Brian Shaw's house in Colorado, and he was getting ready for World's Strongest Man. And he was deadlifting 950 pounds with like 100 pounds of band tension on it or something like that.
Whoa.
It was crazy.
Regular plates, not oversized, not
No,
wagon
like
wheels?
regular plates. And so he was
Elephant bar?
It was a big ass bar. He was training. It took him like an hour or more to get all those plates on there. You know, to like warm up to it and everything. And I just remember, because we have this on video somewhere. I should actually find this. It was amazing. I was shooting like from the outside of his house, and then we were shooting in his garage, and it was like thunder and lightning out. And there's like lightning coming down and like AC/DC playing.
That's cool.
You know, and just cranking, and it's pouring rain, and we're filming Brian Shaw deadlift like this crazy amount of weight.
Where's that video?
I have it somewhere. We've posted that.
Get it out there.
And Brian deadlifts the weight and then like drops the bar on the ground. The whole house shakes, and it's on a concrete floor in his basement.
Cue the lightning.
Yeah, lightning, thunderstorm, whole house shaking. I'm like, that's the most powerful thing I've ever seen in my life. It was just a wild scenario.
When you see Brian Shaw in person, you meet him, shake his hand, you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. No matter what I do, no matter how strong, I can weigh 330 pounds and step on the gas, put the gas all the way down to the floor. I can't do those levers.
And then
those
levers is even crazier.
Oh!
He's even bigger.
That's nuts. And we realize when you have those levers to start and you fill them out, look out. When he extends his arms, that power he has there, you'll never match that.
And I think Thor looks great now. Like he
lost 100 pounds. Is he okay?
Yeah.
Little stroke, I see some paralysis in
He
the face.
has Bell's palsy, I believe, which is like a paralysis of the face, which I don't know what that actually.
Who's fighting? Who's fighting in the boxing ring? We got Brian.
Yeah, Halfdoor.
Halfdoor's fighting.
Eddie Hall.
Right.
Well,
they already fought, I believe.
They fought. It was terrible.
Oh.
Halfdoor won. Halfdoor boxed pretty good. Eddie did a weird thing where he was like trying to keep his distance the whole time. He was like, it was just a weird
kind of George Foreman.
Eddie was trying.
Yeah.
Eddie was swinging for the fences.
Okay.
And he got outboxed.
Hey,
he got outboxed. It was a good. It was cool, but like once Eddie got in this weird stance and it just kind of went like that, then it got really boring. You know, it was cool in the first two rounds.
Real boxers are a whole different species. Don't mess with those guys. They will knock you out so quick you won't even see the punch coming. Remember there was videos of Eddie Hall at his prime, probably 445, 450. I thought the Photoshop. His head is really, really small, and he has those probably 25 or 26-inch arms. And remember his pressing power? He was a sight to see.
Yeah.
I mean, incredibly unhealthy. He couldn't walk from here to there without stopping here.
Speaking of
but he was a wrecking machine.
Being wrecking machine, do you remember that we had at Gold's, Vitor Belfort came in when he was like 19 years old.
And Curtis Leffler got him all gassed up.
Yeah, he was with Curtis Leffler. So Curtis Leffler, we used to call him Big Purple.
What a nice guy.
But he remember they called him Barney?
Anadrol.
He was always purple.
Anadrol.
Yeah.
Alex, I'll take Anadrol for 200, please.
Yeah. So he was always like purple because he took so much shit.
Liver King purple?
Yes.
Is Liver King
yes.
purple?
He looks pretty purple.
I thought he looks more orange.
I think he looks more beat.
By the way, we're going to see Liver King.
I
so
know.
I'll have a whole
Isn't that
report
cool?
on it.
That's super cool.
Yeah, I think that'll be great. But anyway, Big Purple, Curtis Leffler. Yeah, he got Vitor all juiced up, and then Vitor started losing. Remember, like Vitor was the most.
We watched it happen.
The most phenomenal.
He was
fighter.
the phenom.
Yeah, the phenom. He was the most phenomenal.
Remember, Tank Abbott was a freaking freight train. He went right through him, and then Curtis got him up to like 230 with 18-inch arms, and he gassed like in 37 seconds. I went, what happened to Vitor? I went, there's bodybuilding and there's MMA. They're not the same thing, pretty much.
The amazing thing about Tank Abbott is I remember at one point they announced him, and he was like 14 wins, 14 losses. And what I respect about that, about that is like I will fight anybody.
He's a fighter.
I don't care. Yeah, like that's kind of cool.
I'm not fucking with that guy. He's clearly going to fight you. No matter how drunk he is or how big you are, he's going to fight you.
So I remember like they announced him like 14 wins and 14 losses. You're like, that doesn't sound that good.
Interesting.
But it's like 50-50.
He's a scrapper.
50-50. He
He's
wins.
a fast baller. Yeah, he was in his prime. He was something special.
Yeah.
He was fearsome.
It's a lot has changed since those days, you know.
Remember Curtis, unfortunately, Curtis is no longer with us. Remember, he died like in the late 90s. I think it was at the Olympia or the Arnold. Went to his hotel room one night and never woke up. But it's just the night, even soft spoken, like, hey Tom, how you doing?
He was a very nice guy.
What's going on, Tom?
He owned a big protein company,
I didn't know
Curtis
that.
Leffler. Yeah, California Protein. It was called.
Sometimes he was so friendly and soft spoken. I thought he was fucking with me. He go, what's going on, Tom? How's life? How the girls treating you? Everything good? How's the car? Like the job? What's going on? Curtis, are you fucking with me? He goes, I beg your pardon? And I realized he wasn't. He was sincere. He was a nice. Well, I mean, what are like the
What
body?
year did you get to Gold's?
Well, I started. Well, it's funny. I first ever trained at Gold's Gym Venice in 1982.
Oh, wow. That's when Duchesne got there.
I pulled into the parking lot. Andy got on the story. We drove over. 1982, there was a pickup truck on its side in the front parking lot, front driveway.
Barbarian Brothers.
How do you know that? Yes!
Because I'm picturing a Barbarian Brothers
Yes!
in the parking lot flipping over a truck.
I walked in there, and they were in the parking lot, and Dave was yelling at Peter. Peter's yelling at David. And I went in, and the pro shop, they had the poster. They're holding the gun, there's a chick in the middle. I got the poster. I walked in, and they're arguing. I said, pardon me, guys, gentlemen. Stop arguing and sign my poster. They went, okay, sure, come on in. And they walked inside with me, and said, and Peter signed it to Tom. Peter, good luck. David signed it to Tom. The higher you climb, the farther you can see. Best of luck, your friend, David Paul Barbarian. I said, you took time, and your stupid brother just signed his name. What the fuck?
Yeah.
And he was so cool, and then they went back to arguing.
Did you, have you ever seen the Barbarians?
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever seen their movie?
I think I
Can you
remember.
pull it up? Can you pull it up real quick? There's
They're
a
so
great,
freaking jacked.
to put Barbarian Brothers hanging scene. Have you ever seen this?
Are they doing chin-ups in a tree or something?
Let's not ruin it. Let's just see if he can bring it up. Let's see if he can bring it up.
I remember the movie.
It's
they were
kind of
jacked.
better than chin-ups. And oh, here we go, hanging scene. Here we go. It's only 49
Oh, God,
seconds.
Sounds ghastly.
Let's bring it up.
I remember that person on the right.
Yeah, I know. Oh, here we go. Flexes the neck and breaks the noose.
Well, there's a true story. Okay, ready for this? Remember they were also.
It's so cheap. Look how jacked they are.
They're mega jacked.
I do remember that guy though. He was in a Conan movie or something, right?
Yes. The weird thin guy.
Yeah, he's in every movie.
They were so jacked. The movie was just horrible.
Oh no, the movie is great.
Sono stato bravo.
No, it's so bad. It's good.
Quasi quanto me.
Oh, they're in Spanish.
Oh, good. I like that.
Oh, this is the dub.
The dub
A
version.
little less.
The
likely
greatest
to get-
dub movie is Hercules in New York. Arnold's first movie.
Yeah,
That's so
a
great.
fine
So
chariot, but where are
Yes,
your
yes,
horses?
yes.
And it's like they
Yes,
try to make it sound
yes.
like Arnold, but it's like really.
It's awesome. On that movie, Barbarian Brothers, the day I walked into the gym, first time ever at that Gold's Gym. I remember that's the third location. There's Pacific Avenue, 2nd Street, or 3rd Street. Santa
Second
Monica.
Street.
2nd Street, pardon me. And then where it is now, 360 Hampton. They were in the parking lot arguing. I broke up the fight. They signed a poster. And that day, you walk in. Remember the water fountain over to the right when you first walk in? There's a restroom there,
Yeah.
2 restrooms, water fountain. There used to be a pegboard there.
Oh yeah, with your keys. Put your keys
No,
in.
no. This was like a bulletin board. With
Oh, bulletin
pictures,
board, okay,
posters for the upcoming bodybuilding show. There was a Polaroid of David Paul. He just finished training neck. He was wearing overalls and he had a hat on sideways, and his neck had to be pumped to probably close to 23, vascular. He was just mega jack. Looked around, told her, pick out the thumbnail. I stole the picture. I had it for years. And I look at it and go, dude, look at his freaking neck. So when I trained my neck all those years, the vascularity.
It's great. He
his
stole a
neck
picture
had-
because he wanted the neck.
It was just crazy. I went, look at this, as hard as you try for vascularity, like how do I make the veins pop? And I realized he had lower body fat and he was jacked as well. I weighed 280 pounds, but I had high body fat. So
They were some of the original guys that taught me about carbs. Like
Oh.
they would say they would basically, David Paul would basically live on a diet of fish and vegetables, like almost all. Like
David
that was
Paul
his main
frequently
thing.
jacked.
Yeah.
You see him, all you can see is the form. He'd always wear a cutoff flannel to here, but from here to here you go, whoa. And David Paul.
So,
go ahead.
go ahead.
David Paul, he had a very particular smell. He always wore the same clothes.
Smell very musty.
Yes.
Yeah.
He smelled like a baby bear. Like a full-grown bear smells bad. Baby bears smell cute, musty. And I go like, where's David Paul? I smell him like, oh, there he is. He's smelling first.
a little bit like the locker room.
And he go, Peter was always engaging, gregarious. He, hey, you doing? Almost, he'd pat you on the back, tell you a story, then walk away. Like he go, by the way, then he'd walk away like, where'd he go?
David was an amazing photographer as well.
He'd go, Tom, good afternoon, and then walk away. Very reserved. Like he had like a limit of words that day. Didn't want to get to the limit. And so he'd go, Tom, and walk
Can you
away.
pull up David Paul? Look up. You have to be specific. David Paul bodybuilding photography, because there is another David Paul photographer, I believe, that I've
Had a
looked
good
up.
eye.
He had a great eye, and he took some of the most iconic images of bodybuilding. But I remember when I was in USC film school, they met me, and they're like, "You're a filmmaker," and they got all excited.
Ooh,
And so,
that's cool.
well, the next thing you know, I'm going to all these meetings with them about like directing their movies. So they had just met me. They just figured like Like, oh, this kid's at USC Film School. That's
We're
like,
in.
Yeah, we're in.
Is
He
this
likes
what, is
lifting.
this what we're talking here?
Yeah. Some of these
that track and
pictures.
field pose on the top right there, 3-point stance, or the track start. He was famous for that. That shot there, arms out to the side.
Yeah, it's
Is
Lee
that
Priest,
is that
right?
Gunther? Who is that?
I think that's Lee Priest, isn't it?
Is that Lee Priest? I can't quite see a shot
It
of him
looks
here.
like Lee Priest.
Okay.
Young days. There's what's his face? He passed away. Joe.
Joe Miko?
No. Click on Joe DeAngelis.
Joe DeAngelis.
Right to the that one. Yeah, that's Joe.
I thought it was Bob
DeAngelis.
Cigarello.
Yeah, he passed away like a couple
Another nice
years
guy.
back.
He won the Mr. America, the actual Mr. America, which is cool.
And he used to own the tanning beds right by the gym. But Peter and David Paul asked me to go to Romania with them. Like they wanted me to direct one of their movies. Like literally was just in film
I'd get
school.
paid in advance on that one if I were you.
Well, I remember asking my parents, like, do you think I'd be able to go to Romania? And my mom's like, what? I'm like, well, these guys want me to direct their movie. It was like the Barbarian Brothers. But you know what's great is I always tried to help them. And they said that they got blacklisted from Hollywood because of Arnold. Like, we're going to be bigger stars than Arnold. And he hates us. So he shuts down all the movies, all the opportunities that we get. Like one of those weird.
I'm guessing he probably barely knew who they were. I mean,
Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff like that going
he
on at
wouldn't care
Gold's.
who they are.
So anyway, they were telling me they were going on a pitch for this new movie, and he was all excited. And he said to me, I said to him, listen, man, I know you guys have your own style, but don't go in there looking like this. Go in there like dress nice, look good, be professional, whatever. He goes, don't worry about it, bro. I got a brand new FUBU shirt.
Sweet.
Like a FUBU shirt.
Yeah, you're
And
in.
He would wear like this FUBU shirt,
For him, that's dressy.
but he would like tie it up in the stomach, like into a knot.
Getting a severe headache. Yes, that's what he would do.
Remember, they would wear half shirts all the time. They would wear the gorilla wear. They would.
There was a Lucky's on Safeway on Lincoln at Pico.
Yep, I know that one.
I go in like at 3 a.m, whatever, get off work, and I frequently see David Paul and Peter Paul and David's girlfriend Secret. Remember Secret at Hot? She was like, she was Argentinian. You couldn't understand a word she said.
What's her name?
Her name was Seagrin.
Okay, I don't know
Seagrin
if I know.
7, sort of. Anyway, Peter Paul and Seagrin were sitting on the ground eating Oreos in the cookie aisle at Lucky's, and they had like 2 packages empty on the floor. They're on like row number 2 of the 3rd package. So what are you guys doing? I said nothing. You guys okay? Yeah, we're good. You guys need money? You need some help? What's going on? They go, no, we're cool. You a couple bucks? You get a little short on money here? You can take, you're eating here in the store. They had money. He goes, no, we're good. And Secret never said a word. She was eating cook. They were so stoned. They were just stoned. So
That is
they
really
had the
bizarre.
That's the stonedest anybody's ever been.
Peter
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Secret
Sitting
sitting on the
on the
ground
stone ever.
eating Oreos.
Yeah,
You guys
yeah.
cool? We're good. You want some money? No, we're fine. Okay. Talk to you later. That's it. That's it. Walked away. That was it.
And they were in movies.
And they were good. They were fine.
That's great.
Yeah. David's gone now. Peter's still with us somewhere.
Is he? I know David passed away.
David passed. Peter.
Again though, those were 2 really, really nice, good people.
Super
Like,
nice.
Their hearts were good. They were
Thank you very
nice
much.
people.
Always engaging, very friendly, and they were jacked for a while. And their craziness was good for bodybuilding. Remember they were on Johnny Carson. They were very popular for a couple years there.
But they were like very nice guys that were probably a little misunderstood.
Extremely strong. As powerlifters and strongmen, how much can you bench press? Oh, no. They'll back it up.
No. But not how much can you bench press. They were doing overhead presses with like 405. Remember that shit?
Standing side lateral with like 110. Like, wait, 110s?
Yeah.
110s?
They've done some crazy lifting.
Can you imagine those guys' career with Instagram now?
Well, and could you imagine a career if they were not clouded by this? Like, if they didn't. So they thought that Arnold Schwarzenegger was the reason, like, he stopped all their fame. But you're right, because like Instagram, nobody can stop your fame. You know what I mean? Like, nobody can stop you from being as big as you want to be.
And just their
Yeah, they would be all over Instagram.
their showmanship,
Yeah.
their,
They'd be
their
gigantic.
skits that they would put together.
They were actually really funny. I mean, they were always out in the back of the
Extremely
gym.
funny.
They would be like pushing cars and lifting cars.
Peter was
and
very
stuff,
funny.
and-
He would tell jokes. He'd go, Tom.
Wait, go back to this story because we never finished that. I cut you off by accident.
That's okay.
The flipped over car.
Oh, that was the end of the story. I walked in there, and one of them was driving, came in too fast on that turn. The car flipped over, landed on its
they
side.
flipped it?
Yeah, they rolled.
didn't-
They
they
didn't
didn't lift
turn it
it.
over. They come in and they crashed. But onto its side, they probably climbed out the top like you did in that wreck with your buddy down by the in El Segundo. But they weren't hurt, and the car was right there. It probably just happened because the car was still on the side. I went, that's an odd sight. And I saw these two big guys arguing, and they was in their, not their heyday, but they were just on the cover of Powerlifting USA, which in the powerlifting world, it cost a whole lot of, these guys aren't powerlifters. And there was a girl with like a midriff shirt and a little bit of side boob showing, and like, this is outrageous. This is not permissible. I'm like, guys. And that's not 500 pounds. It's 495. Remember, he had 5 plates and he was repping it. And the guy was, it's only 495. It's not 500. I said, dude, it's close. You can call it 500. Okay, they didn't put a 2.5 on there, but this close enough. And he's doing reverse grip reps. Okay, it's pretty cool. Okay, they crashed the car. I got the signature. I stole the picture. I think I trained that day. Last I saw of them, they were still arguing, and they probably got some friends and tipped the car back over, and that was the end of it. But
there was a couple cool car crash stories in the parking lot of Gold's Gym when I was there. I remember The Rock completely.
The Rock.
Yeah, The Rock like backed.
What did you do?
Just backed over and completely like crunched this guy's car.
What?
Like he was backing out and he just like destroyed it.
What was he driving?
A big truck.
Oh.
And he just kind of like destroyed this guy's car. And then like he gets out and it's The Rock. And the guy's like pissed at first, but then he sees it's The Rock.
That's cool.
And The Rock's like, "Don't worry, man, I'll buy you a new one," like kind of thing. And it was like,
I've got insurance.
Sort of
You probably
squashed.
do.
But then the other best one that I saw is like, I love when people try to show off. And
At Gold's Gym Venice?
Yeah, like, or anywhere.
Yeah.
I love when somebody's
the cars.
trying to show off something and it ends up in an accident,
Gets
right?
the best of them.
So Tom McGee, who was one of the world's strongest, he used to compete in
I can't believe
strongman.
you said Tom McGee's name. I got a great one here. You can let's go.
World's strongest man.
Legit. Remember
right?
that physique?
Yeah.
He was jacked.
He was jacked. He's trying to show off outside of Gold's Gym in front of a girl.
What was he driving?
He's on a motorcycle.
Okay.
But it was a weird motorcycle that he used to drive. It was like half street bike, half dirt bike.
Tom had some peculiarities.
He was out and he's like revving it, ving, 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 ving. And then he goes to take off and do like a wheelie. And so show off sort of like in front of this girl.
Uh-oh.
So the bike goes up to do a wheelie. It goes about 5 feet. He falls off the back of it. The bike comes crashing down, goes across the parking lot, hits the curb, jumps up and lands on the hood of a Toyota Corolla.
You could make that happen again if you tried.
And Tom McGee
What's Tom doing?
Laying on his back, and we come outside because we heard a big crash.
Sure.
We're like, "What the hell happened?" Like, and I actually saw it, and then all my other friends that worked there like came running out, and we saw it and saw what happened, and we didn't even ask him if he was okay because we were laughing too hard.
He's fine. He's
usually
stud.
we're supposed to be like,
He's
"Hey,
a
are you
stud.
okay?"
He's okay. Tom's okay.
Like we're just fucking dying laughing. But he's another guy, a super nice guy.
Remember, he was in the movie he was in Stone Cold.
Yes, yes, he fought him in the pit.
Who's my
Brian
boy?
Bosworth.
Yeah. Pretty watchable movie still. Watchable.
Stone Cold fight, the pit fight.
Yeah. He was jacked. He could do a standing backflip. McGee's a great athlete. Pulled 860.
We saw him wrestle at the Mid-Hudson Civic Center in Poughkeepsie.
Legit strong man.
'Cause he was-
great physique.
He was trying to get in WWE for a while.
Didn't have any spiel. He had no gab, did he?
No.
No. He didn't have a gab. Nice, super nice guy. Lost probably, 100 pounds? I mean, you see him and go, wait, that can't be Tom McGee.
Yeah,
He's very healthy now.
yeah. Unfortunately, a couple of years ago, he actually got jumped by a bunch of
I remember
teenagers.
Rob Mathis.
Which is really sad because he's older now.
Right. Yeah.
And he got attacked by a bunch of kids
Beat up bad.
in his neighborhood and got
Beat
beat
up
up
bad.
pretty bad, yeah.
Rob goes,
Unfortunately, because he's a nice guy.
Rob was so funny. Rob goes, Tom ain't no punk now, man. Tom will give, Tom will still throw him if he's got to, but, Tom's 60 years old. And,
Yeah, he's 60.
and
yeah.
these kids are in their 20s. You can't, you got to watch. If you're in a bad neighborhood, you're in a bad neighborhood. And Tom didn't know.
I think they hit him with skateboards and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
they had weapons.
1992, 93 or something like that.
Are you interested in seeing a picture of post the assault?
Yeah, let's see what
Was
happened.
he wearing a circle collar? And,
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's
Jesus
not good.
Christ. That's a beatdown right there.
Oh, yeah. Like, that makes me feel really bad because he is
Yeah.
a nice fucking dude.
Super nice guy. Good story. He had a brand new kind of sky blue Z28, IROC Z28. I remember at Gold's Gym Venice, the parking lot's in the back, the main parking lot right in front where you can never park, and the big lot across the corner,
Yeah.
diagonal, big lot over there. I was walking back from Van Gogh's Ear or something with food one day, and I saw these 3 Mexican kids. And they were fucking around with the car, and I didn't really watch them. I didn't really care. And then they got in the car, and they started it up, and they burned rubber out of there, and they went right past me, and I went, like, motherfucker, slow down. And I was zooming down Sunset, heading towards Lincoln. 15 minutes later, I'm at the front desk working, and Tom McGee goes, "See you later, Tom." Bye, Tom. Tom walks out, goes over to go into the parking lot, comes running back, "Tom, somebody stole my car." I went, don't you have a blue Z28? I said, I saw the guy steal it. He goes, what? I said, well, I actually watched them steal it, but I didn't know they were stealing your car. He goes, what are you talking about? I said, be cool, be cool. I know who they were. I saw them. I think it was your car. Are you sure your car's gone? He goes, yes, my car's gone. Anyway, I watched them do it, not knowing it was Tom's car. Then it all came, when Tom goes, my car's gone. I went, wait, I think I know where it is, or where it was. They brought me, the cops came over like 2 days later with a little a sketch pad or a picture of like 6 people, a little headshot thing, like a lineup. He goes, Tom, so you saw the guys, right? I said, yeah, I kind of looked at them. They drove right past me. He goes, here's some mug shots. Who do you think it is? And there were 6 Mexican guys. I looked at it, and I was trying to be helpful. And I went, this guy right here. He goes, he's a sergeant in the LAPD. Who else? The guy I picked was an active LAPD sergeant. I said, how about this guy? He goes, no, he's retired. He's dead. I said, how about this guy? He went, Tom, you no help at all. I said, I just saw like,
Then it was the other 3.
It was somebody, and they went that way.
Yeah.
Anyway, then I watched somebody steal Tom McGee's car. First, he got mad at me. I said, brother, I couldn't put 2 and 2 together. And
So if I ever commit a crime, you're not a good witness, is what you're trying to
if
say.
you commit a crime, I'm a great witness. I don't
Yes.
see anything.
That's great.
Yes.
Okay.
Whenever Tom was mad at me first, I'd be cool, brother. I didn't know it was your car. I'm sorry. How would I have known? He goes, you know my car. I said, Tom, I don't really know your car. I mean, it's not like a Cadillac convertible was, it's not like a car that stands out. It was a nice car, but I didn't put it together, and I'm sorry they stole your car, and I'm sorry I watched them do it. But it went that way. It went down towards Lincoln.
Nice.
Anyway, but Tom McGee was totally cool.
Well, listen, I don't want to keep you here forever.
I got nowhere
think
else to go.
This is an amazing, fun conversation, and we'll definitely have to do it again. But let's find out about your show. What's going on with the bodybuilding show?
The Bodybuilding Show, Lake Tahoe, NPC show. It's at Lake Tahoe, August 13, 14, at Bally's Casino Resort, South Shore. Used to be the Mount Blue. I believe you and Mark are friends with the promoter, Chris
Minnis, or
Thank you.
Minnis. He's great. Those are some of the best shows. Center Podium.
Yes.
If anybody's listening and
I've
wants to
heard
do
good
a
things.
bodybuilding show, Center Podium puts on really good shows.
Hey, you guys, Mark's got the house up there now at South Shore. I tell guys, hey, you're not coming to Lake Tahoe to see old Tom and the bodybuilding show. You're coming to Lake Tahoe in August. It's going to be gorgeous. You're going to hang out. It's Concourse to Elegance Boat Week. It's going to be beautiful. If you got 10 minutes to stop by the bodybuilding show, check that out too. And best of all, not the guys, but on Saturday, there's the IFBB Pro Women's Division. So on Saturday, the bikini girls, pro bodybuilding girls, going to be a lot of jacked, buff
We're going to have to, Russell and I are going to have to cover that for the podcast.
You got to
then.
come up. And again, it's Lake Tahoe. You can't go. Lake Tahoe in August is just stunning and beautiful. Again, if you happen to spend an hour or get over to the show, love to see you. Come on by. I think I'm on stage Sunday morning and Sunday around noon. I should probably figure that out, shouldn't I? But bodybuilding shows, the show itself, whatever.
You know what's
it's
interesting?
people watching.
We went to the show, I think, 2 years ago.
Oh.
And I think it was during COVID because I want to say it was outside. It was
Yes,
really
over
bizarre.
Squaw Valley.
Yeah, it was really bizarre.
Yes.
Was that on the other side? Is
Correct.
that it? Yeah.
Correct.
Because it was actually well done for like all the things that they had to put up with. It was pretty well done because they had to have it outside in like a tent, which I'm assuming this time it'll be indoors.
It's indoor. Bally's on the stage in the theater.
A little air conditioning maybe.
The night before that show, we were going to go the next day to the show, and Johnny B said, Tom, where's the contest? I said, Mount Blue, South Shore. He goes, I don't think that's where it is. I said, sure it is. He goes, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, they had to move it or something, right?
Right. So luckily we ended up not going because we would have gone to the wrong place and on the wrong day. But they had to have it outdoors. A good show. It gets bigger every year. And that Saturday will be a whole lot of fun. Like some jack girls. As well as I do at the bodybuilding show, it's people watching.
Yeah.
There'll be some huge guys walking around. All the gorgeous girls, the bikini
It's
girls.
just kind of a fun thing to go to, hang out,
It's a blast. And again, you're in a casino. And did I mention Lake Tahoe?
Yeah.
Did I mention that? Let me mention it again. Lake Tahoe in August. Concourse to Elegance. You can go by boat if you want to. Watch. It's just.
Well, I need to either get Smelly to go up there with me, or I need to steal the keys to his house and go up there.
You don't have the keys to his house?
No, but I'll get
Is
it.
there a lockbox so you can get the
A
code?
lockbox.
It's funny because now you got to do that because on a logistical note, hotel rooms that weekend,
Oh, they'll be booked.
they're astronomical. I'm trying. Friends are going, Tom, you got any more comps? I said, I'm trying. I'm looking, and it's very expensive. So
Yeah.
try to get Smelly to kick down with the keys or have him come up. I mean, if he
Well,
knows,
I'd
he'll
rather
wanna
just
come up.
have him go up with me. And
I know he's busy, but and again, if you come out, I'd love to see you guys on Sunday when I'm on stage. But you got to show up Saturday. It's going to be out Saturday. I'm excited to go walk around and see all the buff girls. We've seen bodybuilding guys our whole life, like whatever.
Well, Mark though, like when he's interested in something, like he couldn't stop talking to you. We couldn't drag you away from him before. You know, has a million questions for
Sure.
you about the bodybuilding show.
I
you know?
can never deal with him. What's going to get him enthusiastic? Like, you going to the Arnold? No, there's no money for it anymore. Wait, what? He just drops it. You doing the Fit Expo? Not this year. Wait, what? What are you talking about?
But then you talk about your own bodybuilding show, and he gets excited about real people and
Yeah.
real things. You know, I see him in the gym all the time, like just talking to like average everyday people that are like not superstar power lifters or bodybuilders, whatever. He'll just be asking somebody about their diet, and he's so inquisitive about
He's
all
sincere.
that stuff.
You can tell because he remembers what you said.
To
And
him-
he's actually listening. He's not just asking. We always say, "How you doing? What are you training today?" We don't care what you training.
No,
back,
but he
shoulders,
does.
calves.
He does.
He does.
He's
How
really
was shoulder
into it.
workout? Shoulders.
What's interesting about Mark is he doesn't care about the flashing lights around this stuff. Like, he doesn't care about the bling
The
bling.
sizzle.
He doesn't care about any of the sizzle of lift. Like, he actually likes the lifting and like the diet and the training and the running. Like, he actually likes all that stuff. And most people like the stuff that surround that. Like, hey, you're gonna go to the Arnold and see the, you know. And Mark's like, I don't care about that. I'd rather talk to you in the gym about your training or whatever, you know, which is interesting.
It is. I can never tell him what's going to get him to ask. Like we text. He either text back to back to back text or nothing. Like or yes or the thumbs up. Like, give me something. Give me some feedback here, brother. You gotta help me out with something. Give me anything.
Well, he loves
give
you.
Give me something.
He loves you. He
And
talks
other things
about you all the time.
And other times he'll give me a whole thing. Like I'll go, "How you doing? I'm coming out Saturday." No. I mean, no. This is not a yes or no comment. It wasn't even a question. Just let me know. So,
What is your? Where can people find you if they want to check you out?
Wow.
You're on Instagram, right?
They probably shouldn't want
Are
to do
you-
that. Am I?
Too old for Instagram? Or they still let you on there?
I was thrown off Instagram. I was thrown off. I was suspended for 30 days. I contested.
Wait, were you? Is this real?
I've been thrown off many times.
For what?
I'd rather not talk about it.
Huh?
There were some pictures of me in the pants and the thing, and I wasn't thrown off the Instagram
What?
thing.
Oh, Tommy Wishbone. There you are. You're not thrown off.
I'm
Instagram.
Wishbone. Yes, on Instagram, I'm Tommy Wishbone.
Pull up that picture right there with the. Yeah, there you go.
On the far right. That's about 2 weeks ago.
That's
I'm
looking
probably
pretty good.
223, 224.
Wearing a squeam or
I'm
squim?
wearing
What
a
is-
waist.
what is it called?
Austin called it a waist trainer. We call it a waist trimmer. You know, it's a neoprene belt.
Yeah.
And with me, most of us, we tend to be distended in the abs because all our powerlifting, and it reminds me to stand tall and keep flexed, and it promotes
You
a
know,
little bit
the
of fat burning.
thing I
think, in
like
the
to
waist.
tell people about that, like, because all the girls think that, like people are like, does it work? And you're
Yes!
like, well, it's like, what is work? Like, is it going to magically peel weight, like fat off your body that's going to like burn off because you're wearing a thing? No. But what it's going to do is going to hold you in the correct posture so that when you get up to flex and pose, you can get in the correct postures.
It's so funny because that picture, many people ask me, they go, Tom, do you think these work? Where'd you get that thing? Why do you wear that thing? And I want to go, yes, no. I want to give them a fast answer, but I go, the answer
It is a yes, no. Does it work? Yes, no. Yeah, kind of.
The answer, then I go, well, the real reason I wear it is, here we go. And I go into the whole thing. It reminds me of my posture and to keep my abs flexed and the vacuum in.
It kind of feels good too. Feels
And
nice.
Oh, it feels great.
Yeah.
It helps warm up, and it gives me a little bit of support. And then I think, because we hold body fat, and that holds water. Does it wring out some water?
Maybe.
I sure sweat a lot underneath that. I take it off, and I'm sweaty. So, do they work? I'm going to say your mileage may vary.
Yeah.
Try it yourself. I like them.
Have
They're
you
cheap.
used any skin tightening stuff? Like, has any of that stuff ever
Well,
been effective?
Yeah.
Like the lotions and
As we
stuff?
discussed, I'm 60 years old. I have a case of thiomucase at home. I had it over.
That's old school.
We had that and the baby formula sent over from France. They came together.
Yeah.
And I don't have any
Baby
formula. I don't have any thiomucase or baby formula. You know what I do? I still buy large bottles of aloe vera. Just a regular old, when you sunburn when you're as a kid, aloe vera. I always thought it helped with tightening, and I put it on under that waist trimmer. I put it on first, and put it on the belt. Is it helping?
I have a thing.
think it does.
So Tony Huge, you know Tony Huge.
Sure.
He swears by this stuff that he has. I think I have it at my house. It's called, like, he gave it to me. It's called Fired Up. And it's like a Yohimbe rub.
Is it like Sweet Sweat? Do you know Sweet Sweat?
It's kind of like one of those things. He claims that it really helps. So I'm telling him, like, come on, man, this doesn't work. He goes, well, if you're real lean, it's going to help. If you're not real lean, you're not going to notice any difference.
I think if you're 4%, it will help you like 0.3%, which that means something.
I'll see if I have that. If I still have it around, I'll bring it to you.
I'll give it a try. There's a product called Sweet Sweat.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
You put that on first, put it on that waist trimmer belt. Brother, for the first time I ever tried it, the guys, something's wrong. This is getting really hot. Like, I think something's gone wrong here. Like, he goes, what do you mean? I went, dude, I'm going to go to the shower. This is bad. He goes, hang in there. It's going to get worse. Then it'll subside. I was going like, ooh. Going like this, like, dude, it's really, really burning. then something was running down my legs, and it was a sweat.
Yeah.
So sweet sweat makes you sweat.
That's kind of how I feel about this stuff. You can feel it burning. Like, you can feel it like, it's like, it's
Does
doing
it help?
something. I don't know.
Yeah, and
don't know.
and bodybuilding, or if it helps like 0.5%, I'll take that.
But also
Give
the
me 0.5.
mentally, the placebo effect is huge.
Placebos are real. I love placebos. There's nothing, but it works. Wait, what do you mean? That makes no sense at all. Like the vaccine, which is fake, by the way. If you think it's going to work, great. Take more. Take 2. You know what? Take 4. Take 8. But yeah, sweet sweat and all those kind of products. Placebo,
Maybe, yeah.
Again, your mileage may vary. Give it a try. That's bodybuilding. It's not a sport. Sorry, guys. It's an art. Bodybuilding is an art. I was never a very good artist, but I'm still trying.
Amazing.
Are you a good artist?
No. Well, a video artist, I guess.
Right. You should be a good bodybuilder.
Anyway, we're gonna run. Mark and I are gonna head out to see the Liver King tomorrow. That should be
That's right. Houston.
a fun little adventure. Yeah, going to Houston
When you leaving? What time?
early in the morning.
Out of Sac?
Yeah, like 6 o'clock in the morning.
The Liver King.
We're out of here.
How long are you there?
I think just 2 days.
He's a character.
Yeah, he's definitely. To me, it reminds me of WWE. It's like a WWE character. I love it.
A little bit. Now,
It's a gimmick.
Is he technically an influencer? Do we call
Yeah,
him? Okay.
yeah. You know, he's been around for quite a long time, but he's only been on Instagram for like 8 months. And I have a great deal of respect for anybody that can build a name for themselves that big, that
He's very
fast.
popular.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously he's doing something right.
Yeah.
And I agree with most of the stuff that he's saying.
Red meat.
Yeah, I mean, we've been doing
plenty
this
of
forever.
protein. Lift weights.
What's he saying that's wrong? You know, like nothing really.
And it goes beyond that, right? This bond, move, eat. I mean, he's got some other like tenets that doesn't get brought up that are
Yeah.
seem
He's
valuable.
jacked. I mean, right there, the picture on the right, wearing the cowboy hat in front of those bones, those skulls. He looks great right there.
You can't really deny if somebody's jacked and tan. You know,
Is he
so
strong?
I don't know. I'm
Like
assuming.
Juju Mufu?
He looks like he's strong. I mean, I'm
Juji's
assuming.
strong. Is it Juji?
Yeah.
Juji.
He's doing bodybuilding too now, though.
Yes.
All right, my brother. We're out of
Chris
here.
Bell.
Good to see you again.
Always a pleasure. Thank you for having
We'll
me.
have you
I
back.
really
for
appreciate
sure.
it. Thank you.
We'll have you back after the show to talk about your victory.
Hey, I love it.
All right, buddy.
Thanks.
Take care.